Warning, it is impossible to only do one audio upgrade to your Tacoma. Welcome back to the Tacomaholic channel, everybody. Beware the audio bug, lest it sting you too. So I'm waiting on some news about a custom subwoofer box build for my truck, so until I get that, which should be any day now, I cannot wait to share that with you guys. But until the meantime, I have a few more audio updates to share with you regarding the build, specifically sort of sealing up the door speakers and an update to the platform I built for the subwoofer. I will be showing you the rear driver's side door, but I've done this on all four of the doors. You can see, since I did not run the factory plastic weather shield that came in there, when I removed mine, I knew I wasn't going to reuse it, but if you are doing this, maybe try not to damage it, but they sort of tuck it around like under all this stuff. So if you wanted to reuse that, you just have to be careful taking it off, or I guess you could get some thick painter's plastic at like Home Depot somewhere and use that. I went ahead and added sound deadening material to all the holes, including the small ones like this, and the larger openings right here. You can see this one, and now I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to cover one with the speaker, which I have already removed. Now, I've seen plenty of doors sound deadened. You guys know I did the inside all up in there. And I've seen pretty much everything covered on this. Now, I'm not running an amp to my door component speakers yet, so I think adding the sound deadening material like to the entire inside of the door right here would sort of be overkill for the time being, so I am just using the sound deadening material as a weather shield to keep the water on the inside of the door frame. However, I am going to go ahead and add a piece over the cutout for the, since this is the rear door, the 6.5 speaker opening. And I did go ahead and cut it if I can get it lined up right there, so I can go ahead and reuse the tabs, and I will adhere this to the surface and then go ahead and cut out the center ring. That'll just give a better seal for the back of the speaker, since before it was just the speaker bracket resting against the bare metal, so you know air movement could occur right there. There's the circle cut out. I did try to leave about 1/8 to 1/4 inch of overlap of the material, so I can take that and sort of fold it into the metal frame just to make sure I have a nice tight seal. And in continuing the theme of trying to make an airtight seal around the speaker, I got some of this. Now, this is specifically a speaker application of this. It's Parts Express speaker gasketing tape. It is 1/8 of an inch thick, 3/8 wide, and this is 50 feet, so plenty more than I need. This stuff isn't expensive. I'm not sure if there's any difference between this and like regular foam weather stripping that you can get at Home Depot. Hopefully this stuff is a little better since it is specifically for speaker gasketing. I will link to below if you're interested in using something similar. Now, what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to take a strip and wrap it. This is the underside of the speaker. This sits on top of the plastic bracket that goes in the door. So I'm taking that strip and put it in between those and sandwich it down so no air can escape that way. So pretty much just a ring around here, I'd guess maybe about 12 to 14 inches. This does have an adhesive backing, so once you cut whatever you need to length, pull off the plastic tab and put it down there, and I'll get that remounted. It should be good to go. Here's the added foam ring added to the back of the speaker body here. I found it easier just to sort of cut. I have 3 pieces of the foam. Once you peel the white backing off to expose the adhesive, it is a lot easier to use and much more flexible. It goes down easy. The adhesive is nice and strong. So I suppose you could do 1 piece if you want, but the 3 pieces I used looks nice and tight where I married them up. So I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall this with a bracket and get this back on the door. And here's the speaker all buttoned down. Now, just to make things easier on myself, I went ahead and used some blue tape and marked the holes I used for these screws, so I wouldn't have to worry about lining that up since the foam obviously covers the hole looking at it from the outside. And as I tightened it down, the foam did compress nicely, so that should give it a nice seal between the speaker and the back of the bracket. And one last thing to mention, if you guys are doing this yourself, this is the little bracket that you actually screw your plastic door handle in when your door panel's on there. Mine had a few small surface rust spots. I went ahead and cleaned that off and hit it with some like rust reformer paint. I'll put a link in the description below of the stuff I use. It's from Rust-Oleum, great stuff. And before this was like a silver regular metal color, now it's black. Matches beautifully. Even though no one's ever going to see this, I like the fact that it matches. Now, in addition to doing the foam between the speaker and the bracket and the sound deadening material between the bracket and the metal of the door, I was considering using one of two products, one of which was the Roadkill, I believe is the brand. It's sort of like a foam set that you put around the outside of the speaker going this way and behind the speaker. And another one was, I can't remember the brand, but it's pretty much like a foam mat that sort of replaces the sound deadening material. It covers behind the speaker, sort of enclosing it. And I think I'm going to skip it for now because the jury seems to be out on that one. Half the people said it's great, it helps amplify the sound, and the other half said it just muffles the sound. So considering I'm not running an amp to any of my door speakers right now, I think I'm just going to pass on it. But if you guys have any information on any of those products and you swear by it or you think it's a waste of money, comment below and let me know. So on to plan B for my subwoofer platform back here. Obviously I have it removed. Even though it was secure in the back, it was still a little loose in the front, if you remember from that first video. And I'm trying to be a little proactive about sort of hunting down vibrations that will occur, obviously, from the base of the system. And this front part did move around, like I could hit it with my hand and it would shake a little bit. So I'm sure that's going to be vibrating when I'm blasting some Kenny G. I mean, some cool music. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and decide to drill through the floor. And since I'm going to go ahead and drill for the front, no sense having those pieces I put in the back that was holding the platform in place. So I went ahead and removed those just to give me that much more storage space on the molly rack, I guess, but really just because it's sort of an eyesore if I don't need it to mount. As far as mounting the platform, and I'll get it set in just a second, in the front, there are 3 of these right here. You can see 1, 2, 3. I've got them taped off so when I have the platform sitting on here, I know where I need to drill. These are like little metal hooks where I believe when you're running your seatbelt, they sort of bolt in there so it can pivot around that point. So I'm actually going to take some, I believe these are 1.5" self-tapping metal screws, and screw through the top of the 3/4 inch MDF that I'm using for my board directly down into this. 3 of those should hold the front. And for the back, let me get my drill out of the way. There are a few flat spots. You can see I taped that off as well. I'm going to drill directly into the floor. It might poke out just a little bit through the, I guess, the sheet metal on the bottom of the truck. Shouldn't be a lot, even if it does, and if I can see it afterwards, I'll put some silicone on that to get that watertight. But I did look underneath just to make sure, you know, there's no wires or harnesses or anything like that. The gas tank is on that side, but there's at least an inch gap, and these screws certainly aren't long enough to pierce through and hit that. So I did check, just in case you guys are worried about that. And again, in the theme of being proactive about reducing any kind of vibes from the system, I've got a bunch of these foam rectangular inserts that actually came with the plano cases I have on my roof. So I'm going to just sort of use these as like a buffer between the floor, which is carpeted and sound deadened, and the bottom of my platform. I'll just sort of, you know, put them around strategically like that, just to sort of act as a shock absorber. And there she is, all bolted down. I did end up using the 1.5" inch for the forward 3 screws. For the back 3, they were just a little bit short, so I went up to a 2 inch. It bit down nicely without going too far. I didn't even poke through underneath the truck, so no worry about any weather, water, mud, crap, whatever, coming back up into the truck. And now you can see this is extremely solid, not moving at all. And when I hit it, not vibrating like it was before, so hopefully that's one less vibe I'll have to worry about when I get everything hooked up. And that will do it for this video, everybody. If you have not already, please consider subscribing if you love everything related to Tacomas. Enjoy your upcoming weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.